What's up, everybody? Quancredible here to bring you the review for Black Clover chapter 276. Now, this chapter will be the last chapter of the year. Because right after this one, we're going to have that like 2 week break for Christmas and for New Year's, or that kind of time. So there won't be any Black Clover or One Piece or My Hero or whatever in Shonen Jump you like to read for a little bit. So we will be ending it off right here. And it's funny because this chapter is just an entire confrontation between Yuno and Zenon. But a year ago, like the chapter that was a year ago, I want to say it was like 234. That one was when Xenon invaded the Golden Dawn base. So I think it's really funny that a year later we have like the beginning of their confrontation, and then now it's like the kind of like the re-confrontation. It's the round two. So to kick this chapter off, in last chapter, that's when all the groups basically confronted their Dark Triad members, and so I guess the first one we're going to be getting into is Yuno and Language versus Xenon, and I really thought that like this one wouldn't be first. I kind of thought like they would do some of the Rill and Charlotte one first, and then do this one second. But hey, I'll take this one because it's the one that I was definitely most excited for. If you've heard me talk about which one I'm most excited for, so. Of course, in the beginning, Xenon is mad confused because he's like, "How are you even alive? Like, I 100% killed you." And it's like, this is all thanks to Captain Von's magic, or our captain, and we're coming to get him back. And it's funny too because Xenon's all cold blooded. He's like, if you'd have just quietly stayed at home, you could have lived a little bit longer. And it's just like, man, this guy is so cold. But it's funny because attacks him and he brushes it off with like no issues at all. And then this is where language comes into play. They know that like Xenon's bones are basically used for like absolute defense blocking attacks. It's weird because they say physical attacks and like all their attacks are magical. So that's the thing that's just weird to me. I don't know why they said it like that. It might have been some weird wording, but I get what they mean. Like I get what they're trying to say. Like attacks that like are just coming at them, they get blocked by his bones. So this is when Language goes to use his spatial magic, and we finally get to see more of a basically in-depth look and explanation as to what Xenon's magic does and is. Because as we know, he has spatial magic, and we've seen him use portals. But we all knew he could do other stuff too. So it turns out he can also use spatial magic to make this thing called absolute space, and this is actually that thing that he trapped Yuno in like basically almost a year ago. It's funny too because I was one of those people who thought that the box was just for dramatic effect. I truly did not think that this box was actually his power. So basically he's using these boxes of like spatial magic to basically take control, like full control of the mana inside, and it even interferes with like the mana of like people's spells. So essentially like the easiest way to relate this to is, for like what I understand, is think of Latoli or Kevin, the Compass Mage, or Elf Kevin, whatever you want to think of her as. It's kind of like her magic, but like way better. it's like Compass Magic, but like way better because it's much more controlled, as you can see, with being able to just form around boxes around spells in itself, and it's not just indiscriminate where it's just affecting the mana of the entire area, just making it go crazy and distort all over the place. Like Xenon's is much more controlled, and it also affects the mana of like the person themselves. Their own mana is just like disturbed, and it'll make them weaker. But even with that, Xenon is still able to like even take this like a step further and make like this whole huge like spatial magic, spatial mana domination, where essentially he traps the entire like room they're in one of these boxes, to disrupt the spell that Language shot at him, as well as their own mana itself. So it's just it's really I feel like it's difficult to fight an opponent like Xenon, just because like you'd have to be able to like overpower the mana of these boxes, which is difficult to do considering he has a devil, and devils have like crazy mana. Like they're above elves, so it's like they just have stupid amounts of mana. And this is like one of the things that I really liked about this chapter, was kind of like the like slide trash talk, because like Xenon's like, you'll basically die without even making me take a single step. And I really love that trope where the villain is fighting against the like protagonist, or not even protagonist, but just when they're fighting against someone, and they almost are like handicapping themselves just to show how much stronger they are, which kind of take it like when Frieza was fighting against Goku, and Frieza was like, I'll fight you not even using my arms. Or I want to say even Vegito did that to Super Buu as well. Like I know that it's a common thing in DBZ where they're like, I'll beat you without even doing this. So Xenon's like, yeah, I'm about to beat you, and you didn't even make me take a step. And it's at this moment where we finally get to see Belle again. As we know, she had been charging up mana for the past couple days for their next encounter, and she looks way different. Like her hair is like way longer, and it looks like she has like two extra little bitty wings under her actual one. So it's crazy. She's actually matured a little bit here. She's still mad small, so she's not like Undyne size or anything crazy. But I feel like she's probably not gonna get all that big. And when those two together do Spirit Dive, Spirit of Boreas or Boreas. Now I'm not gonna go super into the Spirit of Zephyr and Spirit of Boreas because they're like the four Greek winds apparently. And I feel like if I was gonna talk about it, I would do that in a whole nother video, because this entire video would basically become my thoughts and opinions and theories on that. I might do that actually in the very near future. But anyway, his form looks dope. Like, actually has like his two full wings and an actual entire crown. And another thing to know is it's kind of different. Well, it's mad different from his other form. Also in the sense of he doesn't have the like crown like thing around his wrist, whatever that is supposed to be. And instead of a sword, he has a halberd. Now this is not an axe. I know it looks like an axe because it has the axe piece on it, but for all of my other people who are cultured out there, we know that this is a halberd. But one of the more interesting things here though is the bones that Xenon sent at Yuno kind of just get like disintegrated, and it reminds me of that moment. It reminds me of that moment against the grid when Yuno was powering up alongside Asta and things were just like disintegrating around them. It kind of reminds me of that. And after Xenon witnesses Yuno's transformation, he seems surprised and he notes that the mana in the absolute space is no longer under his control, and he thinks that Yuno has taken control of it with a greater power. But then he realizes that Yuno is just beloved by mana. And this statement is really odd because I mean we've seen beloved by mana numerous times with the elves, but it's almost like the mana in the area is just helping Yuno out. And this could be taken as a lot of different things. You could take it as it could be potentially due to Bell, or it could be potentially due to Yuno's elven roots. This could also go back to the four-leaf clover. It's really interesting to see. It makes me believe that being beloved by mana is more. It's more than just a statement at this point. I want to say it actually holds some actual weight in terms of it. This might actually mean something. Like it could be possible that like Yuno, as well as possibly even some elves in dire situations or just in fights in general, like the mana would just pick their side innately, which like from that can mean like they could just be able to do things that you wouldn't normally be able to do. And to this moment, we finally get to the end of the chapter where Yuno goes to attack Xenon and he tries to block it, and Yuno takes his halberd and just like blows all of that away, just like blows a hole in like Xenon's like his like chest stomach area, and the chapter's over. And it's just such a great way to end the year, because as you guys know, I'm a Yuno fan, like a huge fan of Yuno, so I was loving this chapter. That being said, I still wouldn't give it a 10. It was only a fight. And so I still can't give it a 10 just because of how I am. I give it like a 9 though, just because I was really pumped. Now, obviously, I don't think Xenon is defeated. Like, it would just be so anticlimactic if he was just gone here without even fully attempting to power up. Now, one thing myself, as well as lots of other people do believe, is that he's probably not even at his 80%. Granted, he transformed and didn't specify, so he could be a 55. He could be somewhere close to 80. Who knows? We simply just don't know. So it's possible, but still highly unlikely. So the next chapter we see Xenon, he'll probably like transform or something to give an actual proper fight to Yuno. Now as for next chapter, I do think that like I was just saying, we're going to get more of their continued confrontation. I don't really think Langris will probably be too involved, but that being said, I don't think Langris is just going to be like the narrator or the background player or just like someone who just stands around. I do think Langris is going to hold some very significant importance to the end, just because it's freaking Langris. So hopefully we do get to see more of him next chapter. That being said, I already gave my ranking on the chapter when I think is going to happen. Let me know down below what you guys think. Were you guys pumped for Yuno's new form? Do you guys think Xenon is done? I mean, he's definitely not done, but I still have to ask. So do you guys think Xenon is done? What do you think is going to go down for the rest of their fight? Outside of that, I have nothing else for you guys. Make sure you guys like the video, as well as sub to the channel for more Black Clover content. I really do appreciate all the support. So enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next video.